So let's talk about why it's so hard to quit drinking alcohol and why so many people struggle and stay stuck on the alcohol hamster wheel. It's because when you drink alcohol, it floods your brain with a neurotransmitter called dopamine. And dopamine is tied to the reward center in your brain. And so dopamine typically gets secreted when we have sex, when we eat food, when we acquire resources, or we make forward progress towards something. The pleasurable experience of drinking alcohol, that euphoria, that connection to the present moment, that is an increase in dopamine. Alcohol also increases GABA in your brain, which is another neurotransmitter that makes you feel calm and relaxed. So the combination between high levels of dopamine and high levels of GABA is what creates sort of this addictive cycle with alcohol. Now, it's not just these two neurotransmitters that creates the addiction. Where the addiction comes into play is every time you increase dopamine and GABA above baseline, before it returns back down to normal levels, it dips to the equal and opposite direction in the other end. Now, what's insane about alcohol is that it increases dopamine from about 50 nanograms per deciliter in your brain up to about 200. What's even more insane is that sex and your favorite food increases dopamine only to about 90 to 95. So alcohol is effectively activating the reward center in your brain as if you just won a $10 million jackpot. Now, what makes alcohol so baffling and confusing is that it activates the reward center. So it's kind of like a Trojan horse that's entering your system. Your reward center is going off and being activated, saying, hey, do more of this, do more of this. And that's how the reward center works, is anything that increases dopamine sends a signal to the body that says, do more of that. Anything that produces dopamine becomes a reinforcing behavior. That's why social media is super addictive, gambling's addictive, porn is addictive, and alcohol is super addictive, and cocaine's addictive too. So what creates the compulsion, the desire, is that alcohol is going into your system like a Trojan horse and activating this reward center super, super high, double above the highest baseline that we're meant to normally experience in life, which is having our favorite food and eating sex. This is a normal function of society and what we're supposed to be exposed to. So the approach that I've taken after being addicted to alcohol for 14 years and getting up to drinking 4 to 6 bottles of wine a day is by understanding addiction and the whole deal with alcohol through a neuroscience-based lens, as well as a trauma-informed lens. When you begin to understand what trauma is and how it dysregulates our mental and emotional patterns and how it stunts our mental and emotional maturity, it starts to make sense why people turn to alcohol as a way to numb out and escape, because they don't have the tools to regulate themselves when they get stressed and frustrated. As a sobriety and life coach, I have a 90-day system that will help you escape the shackles of alcohol. Let me know what you think below.